you're looking very good. And I see you're really involved with this, and I'm really looking forward to it. It's been far too long. And welcome very much once again to MNN, and welcome to you in the audience. Pleasure to welcome to the program a dear friend of myself, and that's being Jafar Syed. And he's a person who does a great deal of research on all kinds of large international issues and that sort of thing. But what we're going to be concentrating on today in this program is he's taking great attention, and he is the coordinator of the Information Center, listen to this now, for non-English speaking court users. The court users being our judicial system. A very important question that he's been investigating. We're going to be putting great attention to that. And Jafar, it's so good to see you. It's been too long since we've been together over a cup of coffee or over a television microphone.
Dr. Channer, thank you very much, sir. All my now 20-plus years here, you have been kind to me. Whenever I needed you, you are there, and you are a wonderful brother.
Well,
I'm proud of you, sir.
Well, I thank you for that. Jafar, share for us. This is really an interesting and important subject, and I know it's got very many dimensions and so forth, but share just for the audience a little bit. You have a bit of an accent that might be recognized as Pakistani and that
yes,
sort of thing,
yes.
and you're from there, but share a little of your own background, and then we'll get into dealing with the sub and substance of this very important question of the language and the translation of the languages that are involved within judicial processes within the United States court or New York City court system. But share your own background a little bit, born and raised, that sort of thing.
Dr. Channer, this is a blessed country. I have been on 3 continents. At this moment in New York City, there are about 2 million human beings who cannot communicate in English.
Okay.
And unified court system, it has walked extra miles to provide services to these wireless human beings. I have a list. There are 65 languages which were, in which services were provided by New York Unified Court System. Yesterday I checked the website. Now it is 100 languages.
Wow, that's, yeah.
In New York City there are 242 languages. I am not talking about dialects. So
242
languages.
languages among sizable communities in the New York City metropolitan area.
Yes, sir.
That's an incredible array of diversity.
We should appreciate what the unified court system has done. The first time I was involved in this issue, that some of my community members, they approached me and they told me that when they went to the courts, the services which were provided by the unified court system, the interpreters, they were not speaking their language. For example, India is a unique country.
Yes.
Every country is unique, every state is unique, so it is a country or a state. So India is unique in one sense that there are 20 recognized languages, more than 20 recognized languages.
20 recognized languages, not dialects,
Not dialects,
languages. Right, with all the nuance and idiosyncratic notions and expression, yeah.
And there are more than 2,000 dialects.
2,000 dialects. It would have a southern accent or something.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
No, southern accent is different. Irish and British accent is different.
Yeah.
Here the problem is that the words are different.
Okay.
In Pakistan, there are 4 recognized languages.
Is that right? Okay.
And there are around about 12 or 13 dialects, or we call it boliyan. Because Pakistan is, as compared to India, it is population is not so much. So the honorable judges, the senior interpreters, the Office of Court Administration, they have no means to know whether I am speaking Urdu, whether I am speaking Hindi, whether I am speaking Punjabi, Indian Punjabi, or whether I am speaking Pakistani Punjabi.
And there's distinct differences?
They are ocean apart.
Really? Okay, that's very interesting, yeah.
So the only person who can tell them, that is the court interpreter. The honesty and the integrity of the court interpreter in the court system, that is the most important thing than the ability. There are 1 million words in English language.
Is that right? I didn't know.
Nobody can claim that he knows 1 million words.
I don't think anyone does. Yeah.
The expert says that the vocabulary a professional has, that is around about 3,000 words.
Okay.
At the most.
Like a lawyer or a doctor.
Doctors are professional like you who play with the words.
The scribbling talking class, yeah.
The same thing is in Urdu. The same thing is the same fact applies on Urdu, the Hindi. They have 1 million words. Nobody can claim, and nobody should claim, that I should know all these words. So if there is a communication problem, the unified court system has mandated, it is obligatory that a translator or interpreter should tell the Honorable Court, Your Honor, this word I don't know. I don't have a substitute for this word. So they will not punish anybody if a person is honestly telling the Honorable Judge that these words or these phrases are unfamiliar, I am unfamiliar with them. What these individuals did, the court interpreters, I call them that they have no soul.
No soul?
No soul.
S-O-U-L.
S-O-U-L. They put 4,455 languages to maximize their income. For example, if I claim that I know only Urdu, I will get only assignments in Urdu.
This is always that you have a link between Urdu and English.
English.
Because English is the language here.
Yes, sir.
And there are people that, okay, that's very important that that translation be accurate. I had a program, if I may, with a fellow one time who was a lawyer.
Yes, sir.
And he said they have to read very carefully a contract because maybe to have one comma out of place or something like that could involve millions and millions of dollars.
Millions of dollars. You are exactly
You understand?
Right.
So that when you're doing a legal document, it has to be letter perfect.
Of course.
It has to be very exact.
Yes.
And that's what the court would want.
Yes.
But when you're dealing with people who are giving testimony,
Yes, sir.
the translation of the language
Yes.
is very varied and idiosyncratic and that sort of thing. So, so that's the problem you're referring to.
Yes, sir. One word, it can land a person in prison for 15 years, incorrectly interpreted.
Yeah.
One word, incorrectly interpreted, that can deprive a mother of her 4 children.
That's exactly the case.
As you are saying. So, for example, I will give you 4 examples.
Okay.
In the Brooklyn Family Court, a mother is pleading that her 2 children may kindly be given back. The translator, he does not speak his language, her language.
Well, why is he there as a translator if he does not speak the language?
Because he padded his resume. Padded his resume with 4 or 5 languages, which he does not have the education, which he does not have the ability to translate. So you will ask me what he was doing there. You are exactly right.
Well, he's there in order to earn a salary as a translator, but he doesn't know well enough, let's say, Punjabi or Urdu, or he doesn't know well enough English. He would have to know English in order to pass the cursory examinations they're able to give in that language. But when it comes down to the nuance of the other language, the person who's giving them the test is not adequately able to test how competent he is in the language he's translating from.
You are exactly right. They have perfect English. Their only problem is that the target language, we call it in our terminology, they don't know that language. For example, this lady, she is from India.
The one who's doing the translation?
No,
the person in the case.
The lady whose children have been taken away, that she could not, there was some incident and children were taken away for the welfare of the children. That if a mother is negligent, Now this lady is begging for her children to be back because she said that she was not negligent.
And she's talking in a foreign language.
Foreign language. She spoke Gurmukhi Punjabi.
What did?
Gurmukhi Punjabi.
I don't know what that means.
See. Gurmukhi Punjabi means that it is spoken in Indian Punjab, and that is spoken by Sikh brother and sisters. So their native language is Gurmukhi Punjabi.
And she cannot speak well enough to give her testimony in English.
In English.
She cannot speak English.
Yes.
Okay, that's the problem. Okay.
So this gentleman, his language is Pashto. Pashto is
that's up in the frontier.
Yeah, up in the frontier.
Northwest frontier, yeah.
So what he is doing, he dragged this lady to a broken Urdu. He cannot speak Urdu because Urdu is also not his native language. He cannot speak Gurmukhi Punjabi. So what he is doing, he is guessing. Honorable judge says something, and what he is doing, he is giving him responses, which we call it, honorable judge is happy that he is getting the responses. He is making responses himself.
Assuming that the translator knows the language that he's translating from.
Yes.
That's the assumption.
That is the assumption. Honorable judge knows that both are communicating in the same language. But this
it all sounds like Punjabi to me. Yeah,
yes,
but we have no way of knowing.
Yes, sir. And this gentleman, he does not know a single word of Punjabi. He knows few words of Urdu. Her language is Pashto. Take another case.
Well, wait 1 minute. Let me get it straight there now.
Yes.
You got you have different kinds of languages, and then you have different facility with the language, and there are some people who can, let's say English. You gave 1 million words or something?
Yes.
Some people have 800,000 or 600,000. They can talk with exactitude, or legal language, or medical language, or something like that. They would have I would not be able to talk on the intricacies of blood pressure medicine, or something like that. So there's a great deal of nuance and capability to give correct translation when the issues involved are very crucially dependent upon such correct communication between two language groups, right?
Now, second instance, in Supreme Court, Manhattan, a 70 years old lady, she has to testify. She is the grandmother of few children. The translator there, she is from India. The lady is from, again, Indian Punjab. The translator could not even administer the oath in Punjabi. She administered the oath in Hindi, you may call it. Now, there is another, I should say, complication, or the lethal weapon in the hands of these, I call it imposter or perjurer translators. They know what they are doing. They know they are depriving a person from his legal rights. They come there every day to rob somebody of their legal rights.
Well, they come there to earn money.
Money.
Yeah.
Money is the most important thing for them. That is the expense of these voiceless individuals who cannot communicate in English. So,
what about somebody who can kind of understand Urdu? Let's say that some of those languages are related. Indo-European languages are related. You can understand, Spanish, you can understand some Italian, you can make a rough estimate, you can, in the street, if you're ordering a hamburger or something, you can get by with that, so you're speaking that language. But you do understand what I'm saying? There are people who understand a little bit of it. They can, like I said, Italian, you can understand a little Spanish, and they could pass themselves off as, do you understand?
Yes, sir.
But they don't have the nuance.
Yes.
But is that the... No. Is there that issue? Are there people who flat out don't know anything of Urdu, but they're going to claim they can do Urdu, and they're just faking it? Or how do they must be able to get some sense of what the person who's speaking a language they don't understand well are saying? Maybe at a street level would be acceptable, but in the courts it's really dangerous. If I'm right on that.
You are exactly right.
Okay.
In India and Pakistan, there is one dialect that is called Hindustani.
Okay.
Hindustani is a variant of Hindi and Urdu.
Okay.
For example, I can speak Urdu,
yeah,
and if a person speak with me in Hindi, I can understand 60 to 80 words.
60-80% of the words you're saying?
Yeah, 60 to 80% of the words.
Okay, that's a lot. Yeah.
That is a lot. But that is only, as you said, that day-to-day conversation. For example, if I go to an Indian store and this person speak Hindustani, I will say, give me this, aap mujhe ye dein.
Yeah.
But in the court system, the first condition is that I should have formal education in that language.
Okay.
I have a master's degree in Urdu.
Yeah, I know you do, yeah. Plus others, a law degree and stuff, yeah.
I cannot read the alphabets of Hindi. So yesterday when we were communicating with each other, you said you met one gentleman when you are out of country. He spoke 26 languages.
24, he told me.
24
He was
languages.
speaking to me ideogrammatic English.
Yes.
And he said he spoke 24 languages.
Yes, sir. And if he cannot read...
How can you fit all that in your head?
Yes.
I don't know. But
Yeah, it is possible.
Yeah.
So many human beings, they can do so many wonderful things.
We only use about one-tenth of our brain. There's a lot of capacity up there for us to put things in there.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
So the first condition is that I should have formal education in a language so I can be a translator. I have a master's degree in Urdu. I cannot read the alphabets of Hindi.
Okay, I hear.
So I should not be and I cannot be a translator in Hindi. I am a native Punjabi.
You could understand 60-80% of what somebody speaking in Hindi is.
No, not Hindi, Hindustani.
Hindustani. Okay. Keep
Hindi is a standard language.
Okay.
For example, the moment I tell the honorable judges that nobody in India speak Hindi, the eyes roll, because the myth is, the perception is that everybody in India, he speak Hindi.
Like everybody in America speaks English.
English.
Yeah.
No, nobody, again I emphasize, nobody in India speak Hindi. Hindi is only spoken in school and colleges. Hindi is only speaking on, you may say, in literary circles. In India, everybody speak his or her own language. If he is a Gujarati, he speak Gujarati. If he is a Tamil, he speak Tamil. If he is a Telugu, so there are so many. If he is a Punjabi, he speak Punjabi.
You have the same problem in Africa with a lot of different languages.
Now, there is one Boli dialect which help each other to speak with each other. That is Hindustani. As I earlier said, it is spoken in the north.
Of India.
North of India, for example, and it is not a religious thing. It is not a national thing. For example, I am Muslim, I am from Pakistan. I cannot communicate with a Pashtun brother. I cannot communicate with a Sindhi brother who speaks Sindhi. I cannot communicate with a Balochi brother who speaks Balochi, but I can communicate with a Indian Hindu or Sikh or Christian if they speak Hindustani, because 60 to 80 words they are percents of the word they are common. But those common words don't help in the court system.
Well, okay, that's an issue.
So in day-to-day transaction, we can communicate with each other. But in the court system, how I explain that in the court system there is a legal terminology. There are legal words. As you said, there it is not a thing that I am going to a grocery store and asking for something.
No, it's not street language.
It is not a street language. So my emphasis have been for the last 20 years that no person from India and Pakistan should be given more than one language to translate, and he must have formal education at high school level in that language. For example, I have a Urdu from my KG to my high school. I should be only given Urdu. I should only translate Urdu.
Okay, could I bring up an issue? Or
Yes, sir. Yes,
bring up an issue like, for instance, have you ever had to do with let's say, suppose you've got something where you're going to be dealing with something medical.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you've not been to medical school.
Yes.
You do not know that the subfemur of the something to this and the and you do not know the words, some of them Latin, something else,
Yes.
that are very knowledgeably known
Yes.
by the people who studied medicine
Yes.
or the law.
Yes.
Did you did law.
Yes.
But did you ever try to understand? I once wrote a thing, once upon a midnight dreary, as I wandered weak and weary over a many quaint and curious volume of legal lore.
Yes.
I mean, the legal language can be something. Or did you ever try to read a contract that is so very carefully written with so many subclauses
Yes.
and terminology that you cannot understand as a citizen?
Yes.
You would have to be a CPA to understand. Do you
Yes.
understand what I'm saying?
Yes. Yes.
At that level of complexity, where those things are really important in terms of contractual agreements and that
Yes.
sort of thing,
Yes.
you would have to have somebody who would be expert in that degree
Yes.
in order to get the kind of translation that one would want to have
Yes.
within the court system. Is it that it's necessarily a compromise between what would want to have in terms of the really intelligent understanding of the nuance of the language that's being translated, as opposed to where you got 60, 80% of it, it would be like, how do they do it at the UN where there are important issues, where they have to have the translation be very exacting and so forth? And what are the problems just in the terms of how could you possibly have enough people who could have the specialized now, or should they bring people in of specialized, say, medical, legal terminology and so forth in both of the languages in order to get that problem taken care of? Do you understand what I'm
Of
saying?
course, sir.
Okay.
In unified court system, a translator is allowed that if there is a specific terminology, for example, contractual terminology, medical terminology, psychological terminology,
Yeah.
they, before going before the court, they can request the attorneys, they can address the medical specialist, and they will help them to familiarize with those things.
They'll take a crash course in the language of
No,
medicine?
but they will
No.
give, for example, a person has a heart problem. So
Yes.
if I am not familiar with the terminology, I will request them, sir, these words. They will give me the English words. I have my dictionary with me. I will find it there. If dictionary does not help me, I will ask them to explain to me. So no translate.
Well, wait. The person who understands it, that you got a dictionary, but are you going to have a person, a doctor, let's say, who will understand the medical language?
Yes, sir.
With the Latin subclause.
Yeah, he is there as a specialist.
And he would have to come into the court in order to give
Yes.
the court proceedings the kind of efficiency
Yes, sir.
that it would require to make
sir.
just decisions.
Yes.
But you've got so many doctors, and they're busy treating people, and they can't be coming into the court, and you can't have that as a routine way of or the standard at which the quality of the nuanced translation that might be important could become part of an operating system, is what I'm getting at.
Of course, sir.
Okay.
And sometime it happens that I am in the court, and if a terminology, medical terminology, I can request to the Honorable Judge, Your Honor, if it can be explained, because I am not a medical student.
Who is it going to be explained by in that instance?
The person, the specialist there.
There is a specialist there.
For example, a witness is there, specialist witness, they come sometime.
So that would have to be arranged for ahead of time.
Yeah,
They'd have to get their
yeah,
schedule.
yes.
You have to schedule things. And then the lawyers have their schedules. And then it's hard.
Yeah.
It's a very complex thing.
It is very it is
So
the
the
most,
person who's doing the translating as a run-of-the-mill, bring him in, he's going to translate, is not adequately with issues that have great issues of justice involved, and there are violations of that by people who claim they think they know the language, but they don't know it with sufficient skill or nuance.
You are
is
exactly
what you're
right.
making the point.
Yeah. Honorable judges are very kind. They can suspend the hearings if a person is honest to tell the Honorable Judge, Your Honor, that these terminologies I don't know. They will help them to explain, and the proceedings will go on.
So then the translator would have a responsibility to go out and research that and hold up the court proceedings because they would do it. It gets to be, you don't understand.
Yeah, the procedure, Dr. Channer, is that before we go before the court, most of the time attorneys and the clients and the translator, they are together case is discussed, that is permissible under law. My problem which I came to you is this, that for the last 20 years, I have reported 17 translators who are not translating in the language of in the language of the person for whom the honorable judge has ordered.
They were just winging it, knowing a little bit or having certain sounds.
Yeah, I have make straight jackets for them.
Straight jacket?
Straight jacket which fits all.
Yeah, I see. Okay.
I see. Now, this lady.
And these are instances that have seriously impacted people's lives.
This is perjury.
Well,
every court translator, he is under oath, and what the most astonishing thing for me is that those individuals, they were the.
Is there something we could hold up?
Yes,
I could do.
they were the
Wait,
brightest.
If you get a chance, this is a booklet.
They were the brightest, and they were the most intelligent individuals who compiled this manual. Then.
Okay. Very important.
Then they have 13 canons of ethics.
They have ethics attached to this process of court.
This is signed by our chief administrative judge, Ann Fo.
This is a doctrine. This is Miss Fo. Yeah.
These
are their codes of conduct and the
for a translator.
Unified
Canons, they
court
call
system. Canons of professional. All right, just come in on the top of this. Anyway, there's 13 or so of this, and this is a thing that's been set up by the Unified Court System of New York relating to this very important question of the translation.
Yes.
And okay, and you can see it's in the title and everything.
And if you allow me, I will read to you canon number 10.
Canon number 10. Okay.
Dr. Channer, it mandates, it is legal obligation of a translator that he should tell the honorable judge his professional qualifications. So if I go before the judge and inform the honorable judge I have zero education in Hindi, I have zero ability to translate in Hindi, honorable judge will never allow me to translate.
Right.
But if I, under oath, if I don't tell the honorable judge, honorable judge has no means to know whether I am speaking Urdu or whether I am speaking Hindustani. So,
because it just sounds like a babble. It's the Tower of Babel. It's coming out of your mouth. It sounds like something from in Asia.
I see. Now, Canon 13 says, mandates by the Honorable Chief Administrative Judge that if I see somebody who is violating all these canons, it is mandatory on me, it is my legal obligation that I should inform the court.
Okay.
So what I did, I start informing the courts. And the honorable judges could not believe it, that a person, a translator on the payroll of the unified court system, he or she can dare to violate channel number 10.
Well, you haven't read it. Why don't you read it?
Yes, sir.
No.
It says, court interpreter must accurately state their professional qualification and shall refuse any assignment for which they are not qualified or under condition which substantially impair their effectiveness. Now think about this lady before the honorable judge on 2nd and 3rd of 2007.
Yeah.
This lady has zero education in Punjabi, zero ability to read Punjabi, zero ability to write Punjabi, and zero ability to speak Punjabi.
She has reported that that's her situation, and yet she was assigned as a Punjabi translator?
I was there.
Well, had she stated that she had zero of that in her application?
No. She did not tell the honorable judge. I was there. Normally what I do when I go as a volunteer, I approach it is not rocket scientist to know that this brother and this sister is from India or Pakistan.
Right.
So I approach them, I ask them, sir, what is your problem? They tell me.
This would be somebody in litigation.
In litigation.
Yeah.
They tell me that they have a housing problem or something, a criminal problem or something like that.
Very important stuff to them, absolutely.
And I take them to the concerned window. They have as I said, they have a very effective system. In every borough, there are attorneys who help other individuals without any compensation.
Really?
So
really?
They have spent billions of dollars. So these individuals, they don't know when they come to the court. I will give you an example of only my one day in the court system. I am volunteering. I saw a lady around about 70 or 80 years old holding a paper in her hand. And she is in a very, her face shows that she is not a happy person. I approached her.
I understand, yeah.
She does not speak my language. She speaks Bangla. So I requested this lady that with my sign language that come with me. She knew that I am from India or Pakistan because we can recognize each other. I took her outside. There is a vendor there. I knew what language she speaks. She speaks Bangla. So I asked that lady who was a vendor that kindly help me what she want. And she told me that her son is not there. Her son has gone to Bangladesh. So, and this is a summon for jury duty. So what I did, I took her again back to the court. I went to the jury officer who deal with the jury system, and they told me that this lady should not worry. When her son come back, they should bring his ticket. They should bring the stamped passport, and he will be exempted, and he will not be penalized
for not having come to jury.
Not come to the jury.
And she was trying to let them know that he wasn't.
So I again took her back to that vendor, and I told her that this is the situation.
The vendor, you mean like a vendor on a food stand or something?
This stand. We have a lot of Indian, Pakistani.
Yeah, right.
They have shops.
Let me say, did I say it already? If I didn't, I'll say it again. It's worth saying. We have 192 countries in the UN, and we have sizable communities of 189 of those communities in the New York City area.
Of course.
It's like a little United Nations, this New York area. But just underscore it, yeah.
Now, on the same day, this is my one day as a volunteer, a person, he had a heart surgery. The United States paid for his heart surgery around about $20,000.
Okay.
Then he went to a private doctor, and he charged him $5,000 for no expenditure.
For no
treatment.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Then this doctor came to the court, and he got a decree or judgment against him.
Against
against this person
for having
his own fellow from his own country. I will not give you the country. So what I told him, there are some cells here who deal with this. They call it economic crimes. So I am not an attorney. No. I cannot advise anybody. I can only inform them where to go. So I went there. They gave him a small...
But you did study law.
I did, but my law is not recognized here.
I understand, right. I understand.
That is not recognized here. So these are the things which I do as a volunteer. So when I went to this court, this gentleman, he need a translator. So I went to the court officer. I said, sir, he need a Punjabi translator. This court officer, he informed the honorable judge, and with the consent of the honorable judge, a Punjabi translator was ordered.
Ordered, yeah.
The one person came. She sat next to this individual, and the proceedings started.
And had she been vetted in Punjabi?
After few minutes, I stood up. and I told the Honorable Judge that this lady, this translator, she is not translating in the language of which Your Honor has ordered. Honorable Judge, this is unbelievable happenings, that how a human being can dare to come in a court, and he is a New York court translator, and he is deceiving the Honorable Judge. Honorable Judge suspended the proceedings. Here again the court clerk called we have in every court we have cells where the senior translator or interpreter they sits. He contacted that office and green light was given that she is competent to translate in Punjabi.
Who gave the green light?
The senior interpreter office. In
the senior interpreter office
in the court system.
In the court system said that the woman was adequately able to translate between, what was it, Punjabi and English.
Yeah, that is my understanding, because Honorable Judge allowed her to continue.
After checking that she had been, as I say, vetted by the chief interpreter.
Yes, sir.
That's what I was saying. They would have a system which they would make sure these people are valid in the language translation that they're proclaiming.
Yes, sir. Now, 2 days trial. This lady, this translator, she could not translate in Punjabi. She could not translate in Hindi. She could not translate in Urdu. She was speaking, she was translating in Hindustani.
Again, that's the street language.
No, Hindustani is the mixture of Urdu and...
so it's sort of like a lingua franca? Like
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah. It is I already submitted to you that 60 to 80% word in Hindustani, we can communicate in Hindustani.
Right. That's what she was
doing.
Why did the person who gave the approval of her as a translator give that approval if she was not competent to translate from, what was it? From
Punjabi.
Punjabi. Why would she say she's comparable? Because are they inadequately able to make the distinction? The people responsible for vetting the translators.
Yes, they have every Hindi, Urdu, Punjabi, Pakistani Punjabi and Indian Punjabi translator has deceived. They got their job by fraud. They are maintaining it by fraud. This is an unbelievable thing that this I have the tape particulars. Anybody can go there. I went there. I spent 2 days. The senior interpreters, the honorable judges, the chief clerk, Ms. Sandra Bryan, the coordinator, the inspector general, the director of operation. You talked in our office.
I've talked to a number of people. We want to follow up on
because I wanted they should be here, so it should be balanced.
They couldn't schedule so
of course it was. So every individual in the court system that is cheated by these translators, Hindi, Urdu, Pakistani Punjabi, and Indian Punjabi. You ask why?
No, what I'm asking is there's a process called vetting that you know something well enough, and they pass on them.
Yes.
And this woman was Punjabi to English.
Yes.
So the person who was relating to the person who was claiming to be able to translate from Punjabi and English should be able to translate between Punjabi and English as she vets that person. And why did the person who is to vet the person who's to be the translator not adequately signaling that the woman is not able to translate between Punjabi and English?
Yes.
It begins to get like a...
Of course. This is a very complicated area as languages are concerned in India and Pakistan.
Or the world. You have a problem on the world scale.
Yes. No, there is no test.
No test, okay.
There is no test. Now, there is no way only a translator can tell that other translator in which language he qualifies.
Well, the person who's doing the vetting would have to be pretty skilled to understand all the nuances needed.
Here comes the honesty. Every Hindi, Urdu, Pakistani Punjabi and Gurmukhi Punjabi, they are covering up. They are in violation of Canon 13. If somebody tell that this lady, I call it C.
C, that's just a name.
Yeah.
C, like the letter C.
Yeah. If somebody complained against her, she will complain against the other person. So everybody is banded together and they are deceiving the court system.
They would do that if they could, because it's in their interest to have the court system have somebody there who can seem to be translating in order to get some measure of equity in terms of people that cannot speak English.
You are exactly right. Now they cannot hold their full-time job. They cannot hold their 50% job. They cannot hold their voucher-paid job. They cannot hold their per diem job if they don't lie. If they tell the truth.
What if they think they do? Back to this thing about where they understand 60, the Hindustani you said or something, and 60 to 80% they can understand, and so they think that's it. They got it close enough. Who cares about a little paragraph here or a little difference there? We can't all be scholars. We're not all scholars of the language, knowing 1 million words and all the nuance. And so there's a gradation of some communication between human beings that they could take advantage of saying, oh, I know what she's saying. I missed a couple of words like will do or not do or whatever. You know, that could make a big difference. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Dr. Channer, I was present at the creation. 1984-5, I started telling the related authorities. You are exactly right. My main request was that these individuals should not be in the court system, because according to this manual, I should have formal education even to become a per diem translator. Per diem. Translator. They created the myth that everybody in India, he speak Hindi, and everybody in Pakistan, he speak Urdu.
Let me ask you something, if I may. If the President of the United States is meeting with the president of a major power somewhere over whether we should let loose all the atomic bombs, and there's going to be a question of translating between them, the president would be very interested in making sure that the person who's doing the translating knew what the hell he was doing, and so would the other president. How do we set standards where you're communicating between two people like that so that the nuance and the importance of it, when they had the thing in Cuba and they were just sending messages back and forth, whether they should run, or at the UN, where the important things going on, how do we make the translation standards such that they can? What is the procedure by which that is done? How are the translators at the UN vetted? Who does it? What is the source of the responsibility for all the various languages of the world? Where is it vested? Do you understand what I'm saying? So that those templates could be applied to this question as it gets into the court system, and then it would get into the general society system. How are we dealing with the fact that we got 5,000 languages and we have a problem of communication between the peoples of the world that speak so many different languages with all the nuance and so forth? How are we to deal with this problem from the very most responsible and so forth to the more everyday?
Dr. Channer, the reality is, or the stark reality is, there is no perfect translation.
That's right.
There is no perfect
particularly when you get to poetics.
There is no perfect transcriptions. Something is always lost. The only thing which should not be lost, that is the integrity or the honesty of a translator. For example, if you see when the dignitaries come here, there are two modes of translations. You will ask me a question, Hussain, what is your name? Sorry, you will ask me, what is your name? Translator is here. He will translate.
You would know that.
And he will translate that. I will say my name, Mera naam Hussain hai. He will translate that. So this is, they call it consecutive translation, mode of translation.
Yeah.
Then there is that you make a statement and I go without any answering, I will translate for this person. There is no perfect translation.
Okay, that's the beginning.
So,
right? I mean, that's an understanding of this
why I requested you that kindly give me a chance to reach to your viewers, only for one thing, that these individuals who are on the payroll of New York Unified Court System,
right,
they are deceiving the honorable judges, they are deceiving the senior interpreters, they are deceiving the Inspector General. Inspector General, he was kind enough, she gave me an interview about an hour. They don't have so much time.
Right.
For a humble person like me, they have to deal 100 things.
Yeah, it's a big
And when I informed her, submitted to her that, Your Honor, I have nothing to gain from this. I have the tape. Somebody should go there and check the tape. If I am wrong, kindly don't punish me because I am honestly submitting something. I may be wrong.
What tape?
When the translation is done in housing courts, those are taped, just like this. They are.
Oh, you have a tape that you're going to play for us.
Yeah, those are taped. Those are taped. So anybody can go there, and they can. I have put this. So this second and third, everything is taped in the housing court system.
Okay.
I should say most of the time. So. Honorable,
they tape. They don't have court reporter doing with the typing.
Yeah, so, housing court, I am not sure, but this proceeding that was taped. So I went to the chief clerk. He was kind to me. It is a public document. I did not deceive anything. I signed my name. I told them that I am a community worker. This lady was doing wrong. They allow me to legally listen to this tape. Then I reported to the Inspector General. Inspector General did an inquiry. And you know what happened?
What happened?
I gave 3 names. It is immoral that if 14 individuals, they are committing a fraud, I should pick up 3 individuals. I should give the name of every individual. I could not.
You're talking about the people who are falsely claiming to be able to do a translation that they're not able to do.
Do that.
Okay. That would be like they have the bar exam. You have to pass that in order to practice law, or the medical thing, and that you're claiming you have capability that you do not have.
You do.
And there's no exam or anything you have to take, or no vetting process.
Yes, there is a vetting process, but the problem is that nobody in the court system, he has the ability to determine whether I am eligible or not, or I have the qualification or not. They trusted us. That is more deplorable, that every honorable judge, he trusts me that if I go there, I have the ability. Now,
it's hard to try and keep up with it when you think about it.
Now,
you got 189 sizable communities of language in New York City. New York City is where it's the most complicated probably of anywhere in the world.
There was a competition between Mayor Bloomberg and the London mayor.
Oh, which had more complications? Yeah.
But anyhow, Dr. Channer, Honorable Inspector General, she started the investigation of these 3. And the person who came, this is your word, who is guarding the gods.
Yeah, well, I want to keep a little reservation on that because it's something that seems to be, in a certain sense, an inherent problem confronting humanity.
Yes, sir. Fraud is
so we don't want to put necessarily too much blame upon the people who are trying, and there's some people who may think they can and they don't.
No.
But if a lawyer said, if you said, can you practice law? Of course I can practice law. Abe Lincoln read before the things. He can educate yourself. I can practice law. But there's not a... Do you understand what I'm saying? They might think they can. They might not be fraudulent. And when there's a thing where they can make money, then you've got a problem because people want to be able to make money and pay rent and live comfortably.
These individuals, they know. Hussain knows that he cannot interpret in Hindi. Hussain knows that he cannot translate in Gurmukhi Punjabi. So as you talk about vetting, they said, Hussain, you should have education, formal education to enter the court. I don't have formal education.
You had a degree in Urdu. You could do Urdu English.
No, I can do Urdu in English.
So you could say, I can do Urdu English,
Yes.
and then you should be able to do Urdu English, but you understand you can't do perfect Urdu English because it's impossible.
Yeah, it is impossible.
Okay, you understand, in
Yeah.
terms of some high standards.
No, if I say I can do only in Urdu, I cannot get a full-time job because there are not so many assignments in Urdu. For example, Spanish brothers and sisters, in New Jersey, I don't have the figures here, in 2003, a Spanish brother and sister who is a translator, he have to do 5,000 events, they call it. They served the community 5,000 times. Hindi and Urdu and Punjabi together, they were, forgive me if I have little bit doubt about this figure, they have to do less than 600. There are not so many jobs for if I tell my qualification.
Well, there are more people who speak Spanish. In the community.
Yeah, no, that is another thing, that 35% of the population in New York City, they are Spanish.
Right.
We are not even 2 or 3%. On national level, they are...
And suppose you take, if I may, suppose you take something like Spanish-English, okay? And you got Spanglish or something, they say. And everybody can speak Spanish that are from Puerto Rico or Dominican, or there's differences and everything, but not everybody is going to be able to translate Spanish and English in the sense of not knowing the legalities and the specialized or the scholarly.
Yes.
Do you understand? So there's quality of that. So somebody could say, well, I can speak Spanish. They can go into a bodega and get done, and they speak street Spanish, but they haven't got the education to understand very nuanced uses of both those languages. Do you understand?
I understand. Now, you see, Spanish brother and sister who are translators.
Yeah.
That is the only language where they have to pass a federal exam.
Okay, that's interesting. There you've got some sort of a system for vetting, or
they have to pass a state exam, and they are blessed one because they speak Spanish. When they are born, they start listening to Spanish.
Right.
Then they go to school and they learn there. But Hindi and Urdu and Pakistani Punjabi and Gurmukhi Punjabi, for example, yesterday you were surprised when I told you that 70% of the population in Pakistan, it lives in Punjab, and they don't...
near Lahore.
In Punjab, there are districts.
Yeah.
They have to learn Urdu from KG to high school level. Punjabi is not taught in Pakistan. So, Dr. Channer, I came to you only for one thing. And
well,
there
we've been friends for a long time, so you come to have a cup of coffee, I hope, and just talk,
Yes,
and talk international affairs, too, because I know you're engaged in a wide...
So today I came only for one thing, that this fraud is committed knowingly and maliciously.
In order to get money?
In order to get money.
Okay.
Because I gave the profile of 3 individuals to the honorable judges and at the OCA. Take the first one. I call her A. She cannot speak Urdu. She cannot write Urdu. She have never spoken Urdu in her entire life. And she is taking the assignment for Urdu because to be a full-time translator, she must speak 3 languages at least. So she is taking Hindi, and she is not speaking Hindi. She is speaking Hindustani. That's okay with me. She has no knowledge. She has no education in Punjabi. She is married to a Punjabi person, and she learned Punjabi. It's okay. If this vetting is done, if she does not deceive the court system, she cannot have a full-time job. So I fully agree with you that no person can claim that he can do perfect translation.
Right.
That is humanly impossible. But a person must have the integrity that if he is before the honorable judge and medical terminology prop up, he or she should say, Your Honor, I am not a medical expert.
Right.
Give me these words. I will consult my dictionary, I will consult my fellow colleagues, and then I will do it.
Yeah.
Now, these individuals, when they were per diem, they put six languages, four languages to maximize their profit.
Oh, to maximize their job opportunity.
When the OCA, the Honorable Chief Administrative Judge, saw and observed that that A is doing Punjabi, she is doing Hindi, she is doing other language, she appointed her for 3 languages. 3 languages.
Yeah.
But they did not know from the first day. This lady, she started A person A. She is doing this fraud since 1994. Now take the profile of the B. I call it B. She cannot speak Hindustani. She cannot speak Hindi. She cannot speak Punjabi. She cannot speak Gurmukhi Punjabi. And she is 50%. What she is doing, when she was appointed, she was asked that if you cannot know the word muddat, muddat means duration, muddat means long time, how you have been interpreting in Hindi or Urdu or Hindustani. You know what her reply was?
No.
I am going to the flea markets to learn Hindi. Take this lady.
Well, that would, okay.
Take this. My request on my knees is and was and have been to the honorable judges that kindly inquire only one thing, that how they do this thing. How much time is left?
We only got a couple of minutes left for my watch, I believe. I don't know if that's about right. And if our timing's way off, maybe you could let me know from the booth. But I've got about 2 minutes left.
So kindly allow me to play the tape for you.
Please. You're going to play something. Yeah. Hold it up to your microphone if you can. This is a tape.
ਬਰਤਾਨਵੀ ਡਾਕਟਰ ਦੇ ਮੁੱਢਲੇ ਪ੍ਰੀਖਣ ਪੂਰੀ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਸਫਲ। ਲੰਡਨ 13 ਅਪ੍ਰੈਲ। ਮਨੁੱਖੀ ਸਰੀਰ ਦਾ ਕੋਈ ਅਜਿਹਾ ਆਪਰੇਸ਼ਨ ਚਿਤਵਿਆ ਜਾ ਸਕਦਾ ਹੈ ਜਿਸ ਵਿੱਚ ਪਿੰਡੇ ਤੇ ਕੋਈ ਪ੍ਰਤੱਖ ਨਿਸ਼ਾਨ ਨਾ ਹੋਵੇ ਤੇ ਸਿਹਤਯਾਬੀ ਵੀ ਕੁਝ ਘੰਟਿਆਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੀ ਹੋ ਜਾਵੇ। ਇਹ ਸੰਭਵ ਹੈ ਜੇ ਇੱਥੋਂ ਦੇ ਇੰਪੀਰੀਅਲ ਕਾਲਜ ਦੇ ਸਰਜਰੀ
There are 6 minutes, okay?
Too long. We only got 2 minutes left.
No.
So you'll have to turn it off and explain what.
No, this is Gurmukhi.